How you doing, guys, and welcome to my channel. Now if it's your first time here, please hit that subscribe button. Today I'm having a look at the David figure by Sideshow Collectibles from the 1987 movie The Lost Boys. Just taking a quick look at the box there, you can see it's really retro. It's made to look like an old VHS slipcover. The images from the movie have been replaced by some images of the figure, and in the top right hand corner there you can see it says horror to signify the genre, as it just would have said on an old VHS cover, and there is some wear and tear on it to make it look old, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. It's really nostalgic looking box, really nice, and on the inside there you can see it's designed like the Chinese takeout that they eat in the movie. And just while I have a minute there, I want to give a big shout out to the Clipper King. He made a comment on one of my previous videos there not long ago, and I was shocked. I didn't realise the guy was still around. He's still there, guys, keeping an eye on us. The man, the legend that is the Clipper King, so much respect. So just giving a quick pan down to the base here. We'll have a quick look at the base. I know it gets dark down here, guys, my apologies. Nothing spectacular, nothing fancy, typical Sideshow base with The Lost Boys and David printed on it. Again, nothing spectacular, but typical Sideshow. And then just a quick pan again before we get into the details of him there. First impressions, he looks really decent. I'll say decent. He looks decent at first impressions. So moving on anyway, we'll have a look at the accessories. And starting from left to right in my usual fashion, I suppose, we'll take a look at all of the pieces that make up his alternate look, basically. So starting with his hands, his clawed hands. If I can get focused in there, you can see that they are exceptionally painted, guys. The detail in them is absolutely fantastic. You can see all the grime in the nails there, all the details in the veins, in the hands, the paint. It looks cold, it looks evil, it looks nasty. The veins in the palms of the hand, the print, the creases of the skin, it just looks... It's absolutely fantastic mold, guys. I can't fault it at all. It looks amazing. And the one thing about the Sideshow figures that all companies should take into account is putting a peg in every hand. And there we have the clawed feet as well, guys. Again, exceptionally painted. Really well painted, guys. The detail in it is second to none. Even on the sole of it there, a part that you're not even going to see, the detail in the mold, the creases in the skin, the paint is all really well. I can't complain about it at all. And then next up we have his feet that attach. You take his boots off and you attach these to his feet where he hangs off the pole. And just at the heel there is a little slot there for it to peg into, so it does peg into his foot and it clips onto this bar here to replicate that scene in the movie where the Frog Brothers enter the cave to try and kill them while they're sleeping. You can see the paint does come off there, because it is quite stiff to push in, which is, it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's just that it takes the paint off the foot there when you try and push that in. That's in there now, and it is quite solid. It's not going anywhere, but like I said, unfortunately it takes the paint off. But again, really well molded piece, and looks really nice. And then just zooming in there, you can see he has his chopsticks that he comes with, and he has his worms. Can we see them there? There we go. There's his worms, his noodles, and his maggots. Not a bad old molds. They're a little bit matte, they're a little bit flat for my liking. You can see the design of the box there, just like the movie. Yeah, the great mold, just a little bit flat. They could have done with just looking a little bit wetter looking, you know, slimier looking. And then we have his bottle of blood that they drink from in the movie. Very exactly movie accurate. Looks really nice. A nice mold, decent mold. Cork looks really nice in it there. And yeah, definitely an accessory that is needed for this figure, and looks really nice. So moving on, we will have a look, if I can just pull back out there, we'll have a look at the hands there. He has, every hand he has there is for a specific gesture or for holding something specific. He also has two closed fist hands actually on him. And just give you a little example of what I mean by that. That hand there is for holding the Chinese boxes. Grips them perfectly, molded specifically for those Chinese boxes. And then we have his specifically molded for his chopsticks. That's blurry, that's no good. There we go. Specifically molded for his chopsticks. They're a bit long, those chopsticks, but still they do the job. And then this piece here, I was very confused about this piece. I thought this was supposed to go in the stand, but it's not. It's just a sheet for the spring. And I'll show you what I mean here. This part here is just a sheet for the spring. You're supposed to slide that spring out there, the waist grabber there, and plug the figure in and put the spring. I thought that this part went in here, and I was like, oh my god, that doesn't fit, that's no use, that's not going to work. But in actual fact, you just pull this part, slide this out of that plastic and slide it into the stand that does go into this hole here. And yeah, that's what makes him do the upside down look. I was a bit confused for a while with what this plastic piece was for, but like I said, just so the spring doesn't split apart in the box, it's just put into this plastic sheet here. So yeah, and then it's the figure's mounted to this piece here. Well, he's on the stand, but this part is stuck to his feet, and you can see there I was considering mounting this part to the ceiling, or not the ceiling, sorry, a part of my display case and hanging them from it. But you can see it's not even, so I actually can't glue that. You can see it's a lumpy surface, so trying to glue that to something would be next to impossible. So that's that idea out the window. Yeah, so moving on, we'll just give you a quick look at how he looks hanging. Like I said, I did consider wanting to mount that piece, but you can't. But that's how he looks. It does the job. It looks really well and unusual. Just giving him a quick spin around there before we get into the meat and potatoes of him. First impressions, he looks quite well. But as per usual with Sideshow, he does not come without his flaws. Sideshow are getting better and better. The Clint Eastwood collection is really, really good. And this isn't too bad either. Just starting in my usual fashion from bottom to top, we'll have a look at his boots. A really nice mould, if you ask me, no complaints. Maybe the paint, the weathering is a bit rough there on the spur buckle there, but we'll get into that. It has the creases in the mould, you can see there, which is quite realistic looking, quite nice looking. This part here, this flap here on the buckle, is part of the solid mould, which I like. I like that it's, you can see there just the paint on that there. It's just like somebody stroked the brush over it. No, I don't like it at all. But that's the only downside to them. You can see the spur there is die cast. It doesn't spin, unfortunately, and the sole of the shoe, exactly what you would expect from a shoe like that or a boot like that, to have a sole like that. And the buckle on the front of it there, on the side of it, is really nice. And you can see a little bit of, I think that's blood splatter on the front there, if you can see that on camera, guys. I think there's a little bit of blood splatter on the front of the boot there. Yeah, no complaints about the boot mold. It looks really, really nice. I'm not sure if you can pick up on that blood splatter on the tip of the boot there. Moving up to his trousers, plain pair of black leather pants, thank God. So when they inevitably disintegrate, they should be handy enough to replace. There's nothing unique about them. There is a little bit of weathering on them there, nothing major. On the knees there, there's a little bit of weathering, and on the bottom there, there's a little bit of weathering. But I do like that they're just a plain pair of pants that you can replace. And then moving up to his sweatshirt. As far as I remember, it's movie accurate. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. It does have this little rib along the bottom of it there to just give it a little bit of detail. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's tailored to the figure or with the jacket on or something. It just doesn't sit on the neck right. It bunches up at the neck just here. Maybe a bit of futzing might sort it out, but it's not great, guys. It just doesn't fit the figure very well. It doesn't form to the body very well at all. Bit dollish, but it's not the end of the world. It's okay. This inner jacket there is of a pleather material. Has all the zips in all the right places. You can see the stitching there is quite nice. It's quite tight, scaled down quite well, and just in the inside there just has the zip on it there, just like in the movie. And the collar there is nicely sized. Unfortunately though, it isn't a full jacket, and I think this is wrong. I'm pretty sure that was a full, I just expected it to be a full sleeved jacket. It's not a body warmer as far as I can remember. I think Sideshow kind of skimped there, or for scaling reasons just cut it short, because most people aren't going to pose him without the long trench coat on. And speaking of the long trench coat, I'll just get panned out there and we'll have a look at it. It's more of a Crombie than a trench coat, really, isn't it? Has all the badges and all the bits and bobs in all the right places, all the buttons in the right places, and it's made of the same material that they used for the Preacher from the Sideshow Clint Eastwood collection. It's definitely the same material, guys. Really nice. The lining is exactly the same as the Preacher one as well, and it has all the details in all the right places. As I said, it is a quite a nice material. It does have the belt at the back, just like it should do, and the cuffs and the buttons on the cuffs there are exactly movie accurate as far as I can remember. Just some nice attention to detail there, and just have a closer look at those things that he has on his jacket. I was going to say badges, but one of them's a watch face. Well, it's a watch, but it doesn't have a face on it. I'm not sure. I doubt that's movie accurate. I'm pretty sure the one in the movie did have a face on it. And the tailoring overall on the coat is really, really nice. And then we have, I don't know what that is. It's supposed to be a coin or something, and a badge of, I don't know, a flower or something. I'm not sure what they're supposed to be, guys, but they are movie accurate. And then we do have a functioning pocket. Yeah, like I said, the tailoring on the coat is really nice. It looks really well on. It just bunches up at the collar with the hair. We'll get into that a bit later on. But overall, the coat is really, really nice. So let me just get him stood back up there, and we'll get him stable, and we'll have a look at the head sculpt, or we'll have a look at the collar actually, and we'll get into the details of what I mean by the hair getting in the way. If I can just get this camera to cooperate with me. There we go. Now, not a bad old sculpt, guys. Not a bad likeness. One of Sideshow's better attempts. I'm trying to get the lighting right here, guys, because his skin is so pale against that background that I'm struggling to get the right lighting, and I think that's the best I can do to find a contrast. First of all, the neck is too long, guys. It's a little bit too long. What is it? The last video I done was the same. The neck was too long on the figure. It is slightly too long, but there's the hair, guys. You can see the way the hair is. They've like put this rubber in at the bottom, and they've molded it in just here, and the way they've molded it in onto the sculpt is just terrible. It looks really bad, guys. You can see there where they highlighted kind of the top part, or dry brushed the top part with some yellowish blonde kind of look, but they didn't do it after they molded this part in, you know, at the bottom. It's not uniformed. It's really shoddy. It's done it in my shed kind of job, you know. It's really bad. You can see where the hair gets in the way of the collar, and as I mentioned with the long neck, the reason why the neck is long is to accommodate that long hair. So they kind of went, okay, how do we accommodate the long hair? We'll make the neck longer, which is a bit of a cop-out if you ask me. It's just a little bit too long. With the collar up, it doesn't look too bad, but I'm not sure he has the collar up that often in the movie. I can't really remember, guys. It doesn't look too bad like that, but that neck is just ever so slightly too long, like I said, to accommodate that hair. And it does stand out, guys. The long neck does stand out. I'm gonna have to do something about that. I don't know what I'm gonna do, because his neck is so long. And maybe I'll build up those traps a little bit to shorten that neck, because the t-shirt, even the line of the t-shirt where the t-shirt ends, just doesn't come up high enough. I don't even know what the shape of that neck is supposed to be, where the Adam's apple is supposed to be, or anything. It's so bad. But as for the face sculpt itself, like I said, not a bad old attempt by Sideshow. Usually their human heads are terrible. Their aliens are fine, but their human heads are terrible. But the hair isn't great. It looks like three separate pieces. It looks like the top piece there is put onto the mold, and then onto the mold is those rubber pieces on the bottom. The colour, he was almost albino in that movie, so I can see why they went that colour. But that mold there, where that piece just goes in, where they've joined that on, it's just terrible. There he has his earring just like he has in the movie. It's a rubber earring. It does have a bit of flexibility to it, which is nice, but it struggles to cooperate. And the beard there, it's not the best sculpt of a beard. It's not painted too bad, but the detail in the sculpt isn't too fantastic at all. But the likeness it's almost there. The likeness is almost there. I know I'm a big fan of the movie, so I know who I'm looking at just by, the hairdo, the mullet, the jacket. I know who I'm looking at. Anybody else looking at him would probably have to ask me who it is. I'm not sure. I don't know. Does it look like Kiefer Sutherland back during his Lost Boys days in 1987? It's close enough, guys. For me, it is close enough. Obviously, it's a Sideshow figure, and they're better off doing their alien heads. And the secondary head sculpt we'll get into. You'll see what I mean. It's a better sculpt. So there you have it for the sculpt, I suppose. There you go, the neck. It's just too long, guys. And as I pan out there, you can kind of see what I mean. It's just ever so slightly too long. If I could bring that t-shirt line up a little higher, maybe build up the traps, I could possibly get away with it. But I'll just have to put up with it for now, guys. So moving on, I'll show you the secondary head sculpt, which I failed to do during the accessories part for some unknown reason. So yeah, moving on, we'll just do a head sculpt comparison. Actually, before we do the side by side, I'm going to show you the secondary head sculpt on the figure itself. Still got that long neck, as you can see there. You can see him with the bare feet on him there as well. Looks really nice. Looks good. Probably better than the standard look to it, to be honest with you. Not sure which way I'm going to pose it. I just want to point out though, guys, I have this out of the box about a half an hour, and you can see the blue dye off the t-shirt already rubbing off on the neck. Literally out of the box about a half an hour, guys, and I've got dye on the neck already. So that's a problem that's only going to get worse. Brilliant. So yeah, moving on, I will do the side by side with the head sculpts, I suppose. I'll just pan around this guy before I do that. Yeah, really nice head sculpts. Looks just like it did in the movie. I love the effects with the tongue there, and the teeth look really nice. Again, just looking at the back, you can see the way it's molded in. It looks terrible. Looks like three separate pieces of the hair, and that's to do with the paint as well as the molding. Again, the hair in the way of the collar. Not sure what to do, where to put the collar, what to do with it. And the neck is very obviously too long. So there you go, guys. I will do the side by side with the head sculpts now. And here we have both head sculpts side by side. Both acceptable in my opinion. I do prefer the one on the right because it's, well, with the prosthetics on his face, it just looks more movie accurate. Sideshow are better at doing that kind of stuff than they are at doing real human face sculpts. But still, two quite nice head sculpts. The one on the right, the vampire one, the detailing is fantastic around the eyes, the crow's feet are really nice. The darkness in the eyes, the aggression, the anger, the tongue looks amazing. All the teeth in there look really nice. Really well detailed sculpt. It looks really nice. Look at the teeth in there and the tongue. It looks really nice. And then this sculpt here, acceptable head sculpt. It just about looks like him in 1987, Kiefer Sutherland. In The Lost Boys, it's acceptable. The mold could do with being better. The hair is terrible, to be honest with you. Look at that at the back, it's just atrocious. Thank God it's at the back. So yeah, there you have both of the head sculpts. still trying to decide which one I'm gonna pose. I do really like this one if I can get it focused in a bit better. The crow's feet there, look guys, is really nice, and all of the teeth in there individually painted really well. Unfortunately the mould of the stubble or the beard isn't overly fantastic, and neither is the paintwork, but still overall a really nice head sculpt, and I am definitely, the more I look at it, leaning towards posing him in the vampire mode, just for the fact that it looks more movie accurate. So I'm going to leave you with some pictures, guys, and please hit that like and subscribe and keep your eye out for future content. Thanks a lot and take care.